More than anything, I would love to rant about what is really irritating me right now. I didn't think it was going to get to this point, but it's fine. So here's what I'm going to do instead. Sorry, that's anger, just getting worked up a little bit. I'm going to put my anger into a scenario that's somewhat similar of what's happening to me playing this game right now. I would have uploaded yesterday and today if this issue didn't persist. So maybe you can pick between the lines as to why I'm mad, but most likely you won't. And even if you do, I'll never tell you. Now, before I start this story, one question I got before is why do all of my stories take place when I was younger? And hence this one's going to do the same as well too. Well, when I tell stories about in the current, I tend to offend somebody. It turns out all of my stories either involve women and or something embarrassing that may be somebody else. And even though I replace names, people still find a way to let me know they didn't appreciate that. Nah, I don't want to deal with that. So in 8th grade, I had this group project with who we're going to call Chris and Alan, right? Now, this is important to the story. I, in middle school, was very much a class clown to a hard degree. So my teachers didn't tend to like me a lot. So for this group project, everybody was able to pick who their partners were, except for the 10 kids who the teacher didn't like. It made no sense because you literally had to segregate half the classroom, but it's whatever. So I got placed with kids I didn't even know nor think I cared for. We're going to call Chris and Alan. Now, why I didn't know or care for them is because they're the type of kids that I would always pay attention, that they would run to class and or lunch when they had the opportunity. And I thought that was weird activity. I'm sorry. I don't want to look. It's not a good look for me. My stocks were going down every minute we had to work together in this project. Chris, in my opinion, was the MVP of the team. I noticed he was the fast runner, trying to get to where he had to go for lunch and whatever. So I thought he was going to keep that same energy and sending us to the W. Now, very important. These kids were both Asian and they had very thick accents. Chris didn't have a lot of English going on, so he wrote down what he was trying to say. And Alan, he did talk, but he wouldn't stop talking. It was a weird little thing, right? And I didn't understand him as well too. We had like a lisp or something. There was a bird. Hold on, that's a new element. Sorry. So the project started. I can't remember what it was about, to be honest. Let's just say it was a project to show immigration, right? And within this immigration project, we had 2 objectives. Very simple. We had to pick a group of people that were being immigrated or something, you know what I'm saying? And then we had to explain why that is bad and what happened to them type shit, whatever, right? So we broke down the work to, I found the people, Chris does the rest, and Alan just kind of makes it look pretty, right? Now, this was the problem I had. Chris didn't want to do that. So at first I'm like, okay, bad assessment. Maybe I shouldn't assume you're going to do everything. How about you do this? Chris says, okay. And then as we break down the workload, Chris doesn't want to do that either. Now, I don't think I made it fair even when I did it again. I think I gave him more work still. So I was like, fair. Okay. I guess you want to be treated equally. So I gave him less work, right? Then I gave Alan more work. And then Alan didn't want to do that. The problem I was having is it seems like they were trying to have me do the most work, and I didn't sign up for that. One of you had to take the fucking bullet, bro. Like, you know me in this class. I'm making jokes. Like, you run. Come on, you gotta do something, bro. You gotta show off your skills. So anyways, I let Chris explain how this workload could get split, and he wrote down basically if I were to divvy up in numbers, he gave me 80%. He gave Alan 10%. And he had 10% as well too. This is when I learned Chris was racist, right? Because that just makes no sense. Why am I doing all this work? So at this point, I'm playing tic-tac-toe on a piece of paper because I was so outraged by his assertion of me doing all this work. I had to speak in his language. That sounds racist because I know I said they're Asian, but I meant writing on the paper. So just, all right, don't cancel me. I wrote on the paper that, well, I don't know how to do this. Like, I'm not that knowledgeable in it. So then he said, you did the homework, right? This is when I realized I don't like Chris. He's not understanding that this is ridiculous. But then I also realized this is what I try to do to him. So I had 2 options here. I don't do it or I do it. Yeah, at the time I didn't have a lot of backbone. Once someone would push too much, I would feel kind of like a bad person pushing against it. So yeah, TLDR, I ended up doing the most work, right? I accepted it. I was like, okay, let's do it. They had the easy bit. At least this way, you know, I don't feel like a bad person, and I can at least guarantee the work's gonna get done in a way that I mostly like. That's how I rationalized it. So boom. After the full day that we had to work in this group project, we then learned that we have to do the rest on our own time to, you know, talk to each other and get it in by this date. We didn't have a lot of time in class to do this, basically, right? So because what they had was so easy, I didn't even feel the need to check on them. Like they had the easiest shit. Basically, Chris had to get the piece of paper and Alan had to write our names. That's how easy what their sections were. So we didn't communicate. There's no need. I finished everything. It was project time. I pull up. We're supposed to present it. Chris didn't do a damn thing. Made no sense to me because he was the one who set it up. So I'm looking at Chris. I'm like, Chris, what do you mean you don't have it? Alan's over here laughing. He thinks it's so fucking funny. And I'm looking at Alan like he's an idiot because this is our grade. Like, because I did the most work, I'm invested. And because he didn't finish his portion, we don't even have the portion. Because like I said, their parts were as important as one getting the paper and one writing our names. We didn't have the paper. We didn't have the stuff to put the stuff on. Keep in mind, this is just a rough reference of what the project was. I don't remember it, so it doesn't really sound like it makes sense off of what I gave as an example, but it made sense when it happened. So it was our turn to present, and I decided to go straight 6'9", and I snitched on Chris. And it somehow got turned on me for not checking in on Chris. And I had to repeat myself on how easy what his part was. Like, I had to check in for that. Like, I really got to go check my boy after he pees in a public urinal to make sure he wiped it up, bro. That's what I got to do. That's how distrustworthy I got to be over these people. So these people, see, I'm saying these words are gonna get me fucked up. I'm not racist. That's not what I meant. Long story short, we failed the project and the teacher somehow was able to make me feel like it was my fault. I never talked to Chris again, and somehow me and Alan were really dope or cool after that. We played handball at lunch because Alan at least did his part, and him finding things funny made me realize that he could be a good person. And Alan did steal my Pokemon Sapphire, so it is fuck Alan, but it's more so fuck Chris.